Hello, my stamping friends. My name is Holly Peterson, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And today we are going to make a fun fold card. One layer tucks in behind the other using the Perfectly Pears bundle. I'll set that aside over here. I have all of the measurements for you. So our card base is Old Olive, and it's 10 3/4 by 5 1/2. It's scored at 1 5/8 and 3 1/4 from each end. So I've already done that, 1 5/8 and 3 1/4, 1 5/8 and 3 1/4. You'll need basic beige for stamping, 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And I did this in a class, and I mounted all three of these on one block and had them stamp on their piece of paper so that it would all fit for them. We have Mossy Meadow, 3 1/8 by 5 1/8. We have basic beige, that's 3 by 5. And then I cut out of the middle the second smallest branching out die. We have Perfectly Pears designer paper, 2 3/4 by 4. Mossy Meadow, 3 1/8 by 4 3/8. Basic beige, 3 by 4 1/4. Perfectly Pears designer paper, 2 3/4 by 4. Perfectly Pears designer paper, 1 1/2 by 5 1/4. Mossy Meadow, 3 by 4 1/4. And basic beige, 2 3/4 by 4. Kind of a lot, but let's get started. So our card base, let's see. So these outside scores are going to be mountains, and then the inside scores are going to be valleys. So we'll do a mountain and a valley. I'm going to use my bone folder to reinforce those. Okay, and you'll see it doesn't meet in the middle. We don't want it to meet in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and start, and we're going to just do the inside. So the designer paper that measured 1 1/2 by 5 1/4, we're just going to add adhesive. I'm going to use a silicone mat. I just cleaned off my desk and try not to get it all sticky again. And I'm just using Seal. That's between Seal and liquid glue. Those are my go-to adhesives. Oh, and I put it on the wrong side, but you know what? I like this side, so I'm going to go with it. And we're going to just put that right about there. And then we have the Mossy Meadow, that's 3 by 4 1/4, and the basic beige, that's 2 3/4 by 4. And on the inside, I just stamped these little flowers with pecan pie. Down in this corner. And the Centers for those is this little die here. Maybe you can see that better on that green. It's just looks like a little triangle. It's got the centers, and they do line up. So I'm going to use Darling Duckling. And I'm just going to put the centers in these flowers. Like that. And then this just basically gets mounted onto the mossy meadow. It might be zoomed in too much. There, I think you can see better that way. And then this is just going to get, oops, put on the inside. Okay, there's our inside. Now we'll work on the outside layers. So when I prepared the class, I had these in order the way that they needed to be. So these two layer together, these three layer together. So the Mossy Meadow, that's 3 8 by 4 3/8, Basic Beige, that's 3 by 4 1/4, and the Perfectly Pears designer paper, 2 3/4 by 4. We're just going to layer all of these together. Try to make the borders even all the way around. Then we'll put this on the Mossy Meadow. And that one's just a skinny little border. Then this is going to go on the right-hand side of our card base. So we only want to put adhesive on the right side here. And you don't want to go too far in. You want to leave a little bit of room for the other side to layer under. So I'm just going to put 2 rows of seal there. And then we will just center this. Like that. Maybe it's not straight. When you try to pull up paper that you don't want stuck, if you twist it, then you can lift it up and maybe get it a little bit straighter the next time. Okay, I think that's better. Okay, so now we're going to work on the left side. We're going to take that out for a minute, and then these 3 layer together. The Mossy Meadow, that's 3 1/8 by 5 1/8. The Basic Beige, that's 3 by 5, and the Perfectly Pears designer paper, that's 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. If your seal doesn't work, you can just get it started on your silicone mat. And it actually looks like I ran out. So let me grab a new one. when you put in a refill of your seal, you want to make sure you clean out the opening here and pull out any excess glue bits that you have in there. And it will just help the new seal to work a lot better. Okay, you want to do that on both sides. Okay, and then these have little pins there, so you just line those up with the refill and then snap it back together. There we go. I'm gonna hang on to that piece for just a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and layer this basic beige. I don't want the adhesive to stick through my basic beige layer, so we'll go ahead and add this. Onto the Mossy Meadow. And again, it's just a little skinny border. And then we can put our designer paper on there. This one has a little bit bigger border. Now on this one, since it's going to go on the left, we only want to put adhesive on the left-hand side here. Just dry fit that so that I know how far over I need to put it over here. They're not totally equal, but I'm okay with that. Again, I'm just going to put 2 rows of seal. I'm going to actually tuck this under here. There we go. Now it'll tuck in there. Now we just need to decorate here on the front. So we're going to take the branching out die, and with Mossy Meadow, I'm going to stamp Hello Friend, and these came from the same stamp set. So I'm just going to type hello up here. Stamp. Don't think I'm on a computer typing right now. And then we'll just line friend up right under it and off to the side a little bit. And then you don't really see it, but I'm going to use the little splatter image. And I'm going to put in basic beige. I'm just going to put a few of these. On my original card, I stamped off and it doesn't show. So I'm just going to stamp a few of these here. Around where the pears are going to go. And then I've already stamped the outline images of the pears, the double pear, and the branch. So the branch, I'm just going to color. I believe the stamp set, you could do 2-step stamping here. I'm going to color the branch with alcohol markers, the blends markers. And this one is the Pecan Pie Dark. Probably not even going to use the light one. Okay, and then for the leaves, I'm using Old Olive. And with the dark Old Olive, I'm just going to go through the center here. And then we'll fill it in with the light. Oh, that tip doesn't look very good. So we'll use the bullet tip. And I like to color over the dark layer so then it just kind of blends in together and it doesn't have a real definitive line. Okay, we'll do the same thing on these little ones. Underneath this one here. Then we'll just color those in real quick. One thing about the blends markers, you do want to have a scrap piece of paper, or like I've got my silicone mat underneath, because it does bleed through the other side of the cardstock. So this just protects your work surface. And if it does bleed onto your alcohol or onto your silicone mat, you can use a little bit of rubbing alcohol in a cotton ball and remove that from your silicone mat. Okay, so we have that. And then for the pears, we're going to use Darling Duckling and Timid Tiger. And since Timid Tiger is darker, then I'm going to stamp the whole image in Darling Duckling. And then I have a sponge dauber that we're going to use with the Timid Tiger. And then you're going to just sponge some color onto the one side of each of the pears. And then you'll line it up. And we'll do the same with the large pear. We'll ink the whole thing in Darling Duckling. And then we'll take our sponge dauber. You can add as much or as little as you want. We'll try that. And we'll line that up. Okay. And then I'm just going to step over to my cut and emboss machine. And, oh, I think I know where they are. I have these little magnetic pieces that I got from Stamp and Storage that for class I put the dies on there so that they can keep all of my dies together. So I'm just going to cut these out real quick. And the way I've layered them, you can cut all 3 pieces out at the same time. Okay. I could have done a little better, but those will work. I'm gonna stick these back in here. Okay. The label, the branching out die is just going to go flat onto the card front, onto the smaller section. So we'll just glue that there. And then I'm going to use some dimensionals. I don't know if the stem should go on the front or the back of the pear. I believe I'm going to put it on the front. I'm just going to use a glue dot. I'm going to fold it in half and then put it on the back of the stem. And then we're going to put dimensionals on the pear. And those big ones probably will fit. I'm going to go ahead and use little ones on the leaves. Okay. And then we'll just kind of put this down. Oops, we don't want to cover our friend. Like that. This one I'm going to put over here. So I don't want to put dimensionals on this side of the pear because we already have dimensionals here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of seal there, and then I will put dimensionals on the rest. I think that's all I'm going to do. And there we have it. A cute little fun fold. Here's what the other side of that paper looks like. I appreciate you stopping by and watching my video. If you've liked it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Bye for now.